Alright, just a short video for today. A few things we didn't quite get to yesterday. So, remember, this is that Leyden jar. This is that device that gets charged up, holds a lot more charge than just the human body would, even though it's so small. Remember, the idea there is when you charge it up, you put this part next to the Van der Graaf generator. This outer part got grounded because I was holding it and I was grounded at the same time. And you built up a huge amount of one type of charge on the outside and a huge amount of the other charge on the inside. Between the two materials, you had that strong electric field which went right through the plastic, and that let the charges kind of stick on both sides. Now, anytime we take two materials that are conductors like this and separate them, this is our capacitor. If we want to change it, there's a few things we can do with it. If we were to use our equation here, we got that V equals ED. And remember, that only works for parallel plates, not point charges, just parallel plates. If we zoom in really close, we can kind of look at this as a section of it being parallel. So you got your V equals ED, your change in voltage equals electric field times distance. So think about what happens if we move these guys closer to each other. If we move them closer to each other, then your D gets smaller. But assuming that voltage stays the same, because you have those charges on that surface, then that means the electric field has to change. So if the distance gets smaller, the electric field gets stronger. And as we move them closer and closer together, eventually you get such a big electric field between them, charges can jump from one to the other. In the case of the Leyden jar, they arced around the edge, and you had that zap. And I remember Binga Binga Bunga. We had two students standing up front, and they moved the plates closer and closer and closer together. When they did, that D was getting smaller, but the electric field got stronger, and eventually, zap, it arced across. So there's this relationship that if one thing stays constant and something else changes, then the third variable has to change as well. So small distance, big electric field. Another thing that we can do is, and we're not going to do any major math on this, not in this course anyway, is we can look at the plastic that's between them. That plastic between them is actually called a dielectric. And we'll talk more about this in AP next year, but the idea of a dielectric is it changes the electric field strength, it weakens it, so you can put more and more charge on it. So because there's a plastic layer between the metal layers in here, the dielectric increases the capacity of the object, and different materials would increase it by a different amount. So that's part of the material research. How do you make a better capacitor for our circuit board? Come up with a different plastic, or glass, or whatever, and that would change the amount of charge we can store on it. Alright, I got two videos here, and I'm not sure this is going to record well. I'm going to try some experiments here, so let me pause this and try a different setup. So I'm going to put two more links to these videos in Schoology. The first one is the See Why Squirrels Jump and Birds Fly. It shows a stick across two power cords. Now imagine what would happen if a bird spread its wings out and touched two wires of different voltages, or a squirrel, instead of jumping from a tree to a power line, stepped from the tree to the power line. The tree is grounded, so it's at a voltage of 0, and that power line might be 500,000 volts. Think about what happens when you close that circuit. And the second one on the right is the unintentional Jacob's ladder. That's what happens if a circuit doesn't get shut down quite correctly, and you hit the breakdown voltage of air, which is fairly high, but obviously lightning happens, so you can do it. Alright. The rest of the web assignment, of course, is going to be, the rest of the assignments today are going to be those web assignments. So if you didn't finish the one that was due this morning, please extend it. There won't be any cost to the extension, no matter what the website tells you. And get that done, then you've got tomorrow's web assignment. I made it due tomorrow because it's today's assignment. Do it during the day today. And again, if you have to extend it, extend it. But we're coming up on spring break. So, since I don't think I have a video for tomorrow, I think tomorrow it's just the web assignments. If I don't put another video up for tomorrow, have a good spring break. Actually take the time to relax if you haven't done too much relaxing in the last 2 weeks. If you have done too much relaxing in the last 2 weeks, and you know who you are, all right, please, please, please. We are moving the curriculum forward, so yes, I'd like you to do those assignments. I'd like you to try and keep up with your classmates. Assuming we come back on the 8th, which is the last estimate I heard, We will be picking up, doing some review, doing some Jeopardies, some tests, so you do need to come back a little bit ready. And if you have any questions, please email me. I'll still be checking email during break. I'm not going anywhere. So stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys later.